Hello everyone and welcome to the Chrissy B Show. Now let me tell you what's in store for today's programme. The fostering and adoption system is in place to help children in need and provide them with a home and a family. However, a fostered or adopted child can sometimes suffer from certain issues as a result of not growing up with their biological family, but others, however, are very positive about it. We'll be hearing from Abigail Freeman Pask, who was adopted at 3 weeks old in Sri Lanka and brought up by a Caucasian family over in the UK. We're also going to be speaking to Sandra Heap, a foster mother who as a young girl faced her own struggles, battling with the effects of her father's violence and alcoholism in the home. And Dr. Nihara Krause is back and she'll be discussing ways to try and combat mental health issues in young people and tell us about her current talks in schools on her 5-a-day mental wellbeing programme in aid of Mental Health Day. Tyler Rix also is joining us, and he's a young artist who's living his dream career, and at the end of the show we'll check out his track Thank You. And we have an interview with Towie's Abby Clark on hurdles she's overcome in her past. And of course the show wouldn't be the show without Jane Rafter's fitness tip. And also we have Baboon, Ian and Helena. Well, that was a mouthful.
Absolutely.
And I just got that right first time. That was amazing, wasn't it?
That was the show.
That was incredible.
I'm out of breath now, you two can take over. Go ahead. So what's in the news?
Lots of news. So there's, at the moment, actually, it falls in line with what you were talking about, with children in need.
Okay.
Children in need. At the moment, a host of music stars are joined together with the BBC to bring out a new track for children in need, which is a fantastic song created by the Beach Boys. But obviously, it's a new rendition.
Yeah.
And it's called God Only Knows, which is a fantastic song. And the actual writer, I think, was Brian Wilson, was part of the Beach Boys.
Yep.
And he wrote it, and it's a very spiritual song that means a lot to him. But I've seen it; it's absolutely
Is it
brilliant. And
Can't believe you weren't invited to sing along.
I
with
know,
it.
it was a big secret.
We have a tentative connection with the Beach Boys.
Oh, do you? Tell us about
Very,
that.
very tentative. Because where we were based last year, when we did our exhibition at the hotel in London, it's also their favourite hotel. And the director who looks after all the entertainers at that hotel personally worked with the Beach Boys for many years. So last year, when they came to stay, that they were all queuing up with their suitcases in the foyer. And this Arab family, very rich Arab family, couldn't decide whether they were going to stay at the hotel or not. And the Beach Boys actually took them around the hotel because they knew the hotel so well. They actually took them around the hotel.
Oh, they gave them a tour.
And gave them a tour of the hotel. So we've got a very slight tentative connection with the Beach Boys.
Oh.
I didn't know them, but there you go. But I think it's amazing. It's actually the first time in history it's a collaboration between three major record labels as well, which is Sony, Warner and Universal Music. Yeah, so everyone should. Yeah. I mean, it really is fantastic. You'll see it because it's only just come out, but that's really exciting.
Look forward to that.
Yeah. And also moving on to the Pride of Britain Awards.
Yep.
Carol Vorderman hosted at the Grosvenor House Hotel. I mean, she's amazing anyway, isn't she? She's so bright. She is. But it was a really, really huge turnout. Not a dry eye in the room. Fantastic. I was about to say, did you see it? I always do that to you. No, it's amazing.
No, I didn't see it.
Was there. Even Simon Cowell was crying. You know, it was just very it's such a special occasion for everyone because it's recognition for all the great things that certain people that would maybe be forgotten about. And it was lovely because obviously Stephen Sutton that we spoke about a little while ago.
I did see that.
His family was, it was the whole thing was fantastic. And he's raised £5 million.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Imagine, just from his 46, was it item bucket list? And he wanted to raise something like 20,000.
Well, he's done
£5
brilliantly.
million.
He's done brilliantly.
But there were lots of other admirable people, and it it's just really best of British in a way. It makes you feel proud to be British. So, yeah, I'm really excited.
And you've got your socks on, haven't you, Ian?
You've noticed how absolutely...
the viewers can't pull up your trousers a little bit.
There you
go. I have to do this every time nowadays, you know. But I think they're very, very becoming,
snazzy.
aren't they?
Yes, they are.
They becoming? Aren't they becoming?
They are very you.
And Rory McIlroy has just donated £1 million to a cancer charity in Ireland.
Wow.
So obviously, again, cancer is obviously very much in the news as well. Mental health is, and also cancer as well is you know, because I think I'm not sure whether it's just happened or it's just going to happen, is breast cancer at the moment as well. And I think that's
Isn't that next month?
I think that's coming up very, very shortly now, isn't it? Pink ribbon.
Yeah, I think it's at the moment they're always lots of things. So it's all very good. Karl Lagerfeld, 80-something, 6 or 2 or something. So he's amazing.
Still going.
He is, but he's known for his fashion, but he's actually a really good photographer. And he has collaborations with people. Recently, Miley Cyrus, and that was some kind of a shoot, I won't say anymore. Conchita Wurst. But he's actually now marrying up with Justin Bieber, which I feel a bit disappointed about for some reason. But he obviously, because he's young and happening, I guess he's...
Why are you disappointed?
I don't know, because I think Justin Bieber's a naughty boy. Needs to pull his socks up.
Maybe he'll influence him in a good way.
Yeah, I'm sure he will.
Wise words from an older man.
Probably
one of the most romantic stories that we've heard was a gentleman called John Greenwood. And John Greenwood wanted to really have something that he's just got married, and he wanted to really have something that was so special as a memory. So he lives in Scotland, John Greenwood, and so for the past 18 months, every weekend he'd been going to the mountainsides in Scotland and panning for gold to actually to get enough gold to actually create the 2 wedding rings for the wedding.
Oh, I think that's lovely. I think
he
did it with the engagement rings as well.
Yeah, and so
did he find enough gold?
It took him 18 months.
He did.
It took him 18 months to actually find enough gold, panning for enough gold, so they could both each have their own super wedding rings. Wasn't that a lovely story?
Lovely. He must have had a lot of time on his
hands,
so I have to say.
I know. And his actual mainlining work is something like a bomb disposal person or something like that, but you can imagine him sort of scurrying around.
He bombed the place and found the gold.
I don't know, possibly. Anyway, but that's lovely. It's very interesting as well to learn about Adele. I mean, she's so successful. She's 26, but she actually earns £80,000 a day. She doesn't do anything. That's just on all her resales and everything. But she hasn't brought out an album for 4 years, and she's making £80,000 a day.
Wow.
Amazing, isn't it? I mean, she's incredibly talented.
Yeah, she is.
But it's, what a thing to have that rolling in.
80,000 a day, not doing anything.
Absolutely.
I know.
That's amazing.
That's almost as good as us.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, okay.
We were only joking, the tax man, we were only joking.
Gosh.
And if you scroll up a little bit, there's this wonderful story, I think, at the moment, if I can find it.
What's it about, Ian? Tell me and I might find it.
It's 5-year-old Hayley Fraser. And it's incredible the progression now in 3D printing, and they're creating all sorts of things. And so the first 3D hand and prosthetic hand in the world has been produced for this 5-year-old girl.
I saw that on the news.
But not only are they doing that now, there's a production line in London for Indian children. And what it is that a lot of Indian children are born without an ear.
Yeah, I saw that the other day.
And so they're actually sort of creating...
It's brilliant, isn't it?
The 3D process.
They just make it in a day as well and then send it over.
Yeah, it's amazing what they're doing nowadays.
And it's all 3D printing.
Yeah.
Gosh.
It's great.
It's amazing. So Kylie is in full force in the UK with her tour. Kiss Me Once tour. I think it's a show since she actually turned down loads of things, didn't she? The Voice and various things to do her tour. But there was all this talk about the only people that are turning up to see her concerts are boys and young men, etc. Really? But it's not the case. It's not the case. And loads of people were ringing in saying, no, we're girls, and no, we're all going and we enjoy it. But so she's doing really, really well. Yeah.
And we're learning stories as well about how celebrities disguise themselves.
How do you disguise yourself?
Well,
obviously you get recognised every week.
You know, I think that the flat cap and the dark glasses. Do you know,
He's got an amazing red jacket at the minute as well.
I remember a time many, many years ago that all celebrities, wherever they were, wore dark glasses because they tried to be anonymous. And I remember working with 2 very, very famous actors. And they were meeting me in a hotel, and this hotel was very, very dark. And they both came in, and they both tripped over furniture because they couldn't see a thing with their dark glasses on as well. And I thought, I'd never ever wear dark glasses. But Daniel Craig is the latest, and he's got this very geeky pair of ordinary glasses now, reading glasses, and he wears these glasses. And nobody recognises him.
Really, but he's got such distinctive features, though.
Absolutely, nobody recognises him.
I think he must be wearing a wig or something, because he's so obvious.
He's so like
everything from his shape of face,
everything. He's got a different looking face, hasn't he?
Yeah.
So
He has.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
just glasses.
It's amazing. I think sometimes, you know, how the public gets fixated on a particular sort of look. Many years ago now, you know, I used to work with Morecambe and Wise, and Eric Morecambe, you know, who was very famous for his glasses. Whenever he would go for a walk, all he used to do was put a flat cap on, take his glasses off, and nobody recognised him.
Wow. I suppose sometimes you do sort of think, oh, that person looks familiar, but you're too shy to say, are you so-and-so? So I suppose, hey, we've got to go now. We've run out of time. Sorry, guys. Thank you so much for the news.
Thank you very much.
You didn't tell us the fun news about the Queen. You're going to have to save that for next time.
I'll tell you, it's so funny, this story.
Right. Well, do stay tuned. Thank you so much. Stay tuned, because after the break, we're going to be talking about fostering and adoption.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back. Well, now it's time to talk about fostering and adoption. So let's meet foster mum Sandra Heap. Hello, Sandra.
Hello, Chrissy.
Hello, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
So you've been a foster mum for a while, haven't you, Sandra? Can you tell us how long?
I've been doing it for about three and a half years.
Okay, and how's it been going, and what made you decide to be a foster mum in the first place?
I think the background that I had has probably always played on my mind, and I've had other careers, and then decided then as I got older, maybe I could be able to help somebody and have a little bit more empathy to what they've been through.
Okay, well, what is it that you've actually been through, if you don't mind us asking?
I was raised in a household of severe domestic violence by my father to my mother. He'd never hit the children, but we were subjected to watching the violence to my mother.
Right. So now you feel like as a parent you can offer something more security for children, or better like upbringing? What is it that
Yeah, definitely. I think because I know what they've been through, it makes me more understand sometimes how they feel, the mood swings, if they're low or if they feel high. And then I can maybe have a little bit more empathy with them, rather than just saying, oh, they're just moody. It could be something maybe playing on the mind a little bit.
Okay. And I have to ask this question, Sandra. Do you not find yourself getting quite attached to the children that you foster? Because obviously there's a time when you have to let them go. How do you cope with that?
Do you know what? I class it as a job. I know it's an awful thing to say. I have to, because I do short-term and long-term fostering. And I know that they're going on to maybe something better. Or a new part of their life, and something for them to look forward to. So I can't show my emotion too much, because it's not good for them.
Okay. And what's been the most rewarding experience for you, would you say, about fostering?
I think just seeing them happy, healthy, they've got a good nurturing side. As soon as they walk through that door, they're welcomed with open arms. They've got nice food, healthy food on the table, dressed well. And there's a lot of love and attention given to them. And I think that's all you can provide, really, is a happy, healthy home.
Okay. And if there are people watching now that are considering fostering or even adoption, what advice would you give them?
I think the best bit of advice would be to make sure that it's exactly what they want, because it is a huge intrusion in your life. You've got to know that you're going to share everything. You can't just say, no, this is mine, that's yours, and treat maybe your other children differently. Everything has to be equal. And sometimes, I know in the past, many years ago, some foster parents struggled with that and treated the foster children differently. Right. So you've got to know, you've got to treat everybody as equal.
Is there any help for people that are going to actually foster, to sort of get the right balance and stuff?
As long as you choose a good agency and have the right training, and the quality of training is one thing I can say is...
So you're not just left on your own to your own devices, you are given lots of training and
lots and lots of training.
Brilliant.
I'm with a company, Foster Care Line. They're huge with the training. It's on a monthly basis virtually, and constantly come to the house. So you're always up on attachment training, emotional problems, instability. You've constantly to be trained. You can't just do this and think it's going to be a normal family life. It isn't.
Right. Okay. Sandra, thanks so much for talking to us. I think we're losing the connection a bit, but thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, I've lost the connection there. But we do have Abigail Freeman-Pask, who's come here to kindly talk about being adopted. Now, Abby's actually one of my makeup artists, and I did grab her because she told me about her story. And one thing that I love about her, she's very, very positive. So welcome to the show, Abby.
Thank you.
You're not behind the scenes today, you're in front of the camera.
No, exactly.
So you were adopted when you were 3 years old?
3 weeks old.
3 weeks old, sorry.
Yes.
3 weeks old. So how was that? How did that happen?
So basically, my people that I call my family now, my mum, she had my brother quite late, and then she had quite a few miscarriages after she had my brother, so she couldn't actually have any more children. So they decided that they wanted to adopt, but from another country. So that's when I kind of came into the picture. However,
So your mum's English?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, she's English. Basically, the people who I call my family, they are English. They're Caucasian. And so the year they were meant to go out to go and get me, the year they were meant to go out and go and adopt, they actually got told that it was too dangerous because the Civil War had got a little bit out of hand. So they had to postpone it another year, which is how they got me. So if they went a year earlier, they wouldn't have had me. So
that was fortunate. But
yeah,
how's it been for you? Because obviously, you're from Sri Lanka. It's a different country. It's a different. How has it been adapting to your new family? Because you were very young.
Yeah, because I was very, very young. I haven't known any different. I've not been treated differently at all. I've always been treated equal. And when I came over, there was quite a lot of, because my mum knows quite a few people that work for the papers, it was put into the papers and stuff like that. And where we live in Windsor is sort of quite a middle class sort of place, and a lot of Caucasian people are there. Now, it hasn't been a problem with me being in the family at all. My brother, who's 5 years older than me, Adam Freeman-Pask, he's never treated me any differently than a sister. Yeah. So we're all a really tight family. That's amazing. We get on really well.
But you have been a bit curious about your
definitely,
birth mum. So what's
definitely.
happening there? It's not because you feel, because it's very important to say, it's not because you feel that you've lacked anything, because she was actually telling me earlier, she's got a brilliant mum, she doesn't feel like she's missing out on anything. No. But just out of curiosity, you just want to...
Out of curiosity, I would like to know my real mum. I don't know the real reason why she gave me up when I was young, obviously when I got adopted 3 weeks old. But I want to know my real mum. My real dad died before I was born in the Civil War. But then I've also got a sister. Now, my sister was 8 years old before I was adopted. So I would definitely like to know my sister as well. So it'd be nice if I could eventually find them, because there are questions that I want answered. But it would just be nice to actually know that I've actually finally found them. Rather than hoping later on in life, I could have done that, I should have done that.
Okay. But you feel now it's the right time to start looking.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell us about your mum at the moment.
My mum at the moment, absolutely amazing. Very, very dramatic. She does a lot of directing. She sounds funny. She does a lot of art.
Sometimes,
yeah, she's quite a character, but she's absolutely amazing. From a young age, she's kind of got me and my brother both into acting. And I think then kind of my brother, by the time he got to his teenage years, he decided that it wasn't really for him. So I think therefore it then kind of came on to me to do more of the acting. So she's always been
encouraging you with things?
Yes, definitely. I mean...
but what do you see in her, Abby, that, because there are people that are considering adopting, maybe from another country even, or even fostering. What is it about your mum that you say, look, I think this is so, because you're very positive and you're very happy about the whole experience, but there's other children that they're a bit traumatized by the whole thing, and because they haven't met their biological parents, it seems to scar them for some reason. So what is it about your mum or your experience that's different, that's kept you so positive and so happy?
I think probably for me, because I was adopted at such a young age, therefore I kind of haven't really known any different. But obviously, don't get me wrong, I have had the curiosity. But if I wasn't adopted from Sri Lanka, and if my mum hadn't given me up, I can't guarantee I would be here today. Because I know the birth population, that's quite high, but she could have done something else to me. I might not have been here. So
That's true.
I think there are a lot of people there are a lot of children out there, and I think it is a good idea to adopt, because if you can provide them a better life, as it were, rather than what they've got, then I think you should do it.
Okay.
Definitely.
Is there anything you'd like to say to your mum right now?
I just want to say a massive, massive thank you, Mum. You've always been there for me, and despite our ups and downs, we are really, really close, and you know that, and I love you.
Oh, bless her. Oh, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
You
No problem.
did so well. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Abby. All right,
Thank you.
so we do have more coming up, so do stay tuned, because we'll be joined by Dr. Nihara Krause.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back. In a few minutes, we're going to be talking to our guest, Dr. Krause. But first, let's take a look at this interview with Towie's Abby Clark.
Abby Clark is one of the most famous girls out of Towie, the only way is Essex. The 22-year-old, though, has a tremendous story, a success story to tell in her own right. Not only has she had major success on television, she's also had her issues as well. And she wants to use her experiences now to actually help other girls in similar positions. So, first of all, tell me a little bit about how it was like to work in Towie, but also the types of issues that you've had to face over the past few years.
My experience on Towie was a bit of a whirlwind. One of my best friends was on the show, and I literally just got a phone call and they said, do you want to do a scene tomorrow? And literally come home from work, rushed to the scene, and I was straight on. I can honestly say that there's a lot of things that I wouldn't be able to get through without my faith and my belief in God, and how I've kind of got through a lot of things in my life. Obviously I've experienced, my house is open to my dad, you know, letting people come in and kind of look after them, mentor them. So I've seen a lot of situations in a lot of people's lives which I've seen from a young age, and how God or having a faith has really helped them in those situations. And I feel that through what I believe, I can help other people feel positive about themselves, because it's about how you feel about yourself and how you make others feel, and you're supposed to love others as you love yourself. So I know that my family love me and God loves me, and I want to show people that as well. Because I moved around quite a lot when I was little because of my dad's job, I actually went to 3 primary schools and 1 secondary school, and in every single school I went to I was bullied. I don't know why. I still don't really know why, but I definitely have learned from those experiences. I'm a very positive role model, and I want to show girls out there that you don't have to look a certain way, and there's a lot of pressures that the media give that tell people you should look a certain way or be a certain size. When I was, I think it was about 15, 16 years old, I started feeling pressure because I was obviously being bullied, and a lot of the boys in my class would say, you've got this wrong with you, you've got that, or would make fun of me, and it made me feel really insecure. Oh, I should have skinny legs, or I should be skinny, oh, I should have big boobs, or I should be a certain way. And I started to stop eating properly, and I started to have 2 apples a day and chewing gum, and then a tiny bit of salad in the evening. And I am naturally curvy, I'll never be skinny, and I went from, I think, a size 8 to 10 to a size 4 on top and a size 6 on bottom. I now want to show everyone that that's not a good way to live, and it's not. And obviously now being in the public eye, the pressures of being under the media become even more. But I've now embraced the fact that I am curvy, and there's nothing wrong with being curvy. There's nothing wrong with having short hair. There's nothing wrong with, you know, having like a bigger nose or anything like that, and you shouldn't have to feel that you should change those things. And I think young girls have that pressure that they feel that they need to do that. And you're all beautiful, you're all amazing and lovely, and it's what's within which matters as well.
Well said, Abby. And now we have Dr. Krause with us again. Hello.
Hello.
She's one of our regular guests now, you can see. So obviously she was talking about some of the pressures as a teenager, but you know, that is something that a lot of, not just girls, but also boys go through, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. Well, she was talking about concerns about your body in particular and how that might lead to an eating disorder.
Yeah, so it's difficult. I mean, as a teenager, I know I've been bullied, and I know many of my friends were as well. So it's a very hard thing to deal with, and obviously it does leave you with a lot of complexes and stuff like that. But there are ways of getting out of that and getting help for that as well. But we're going to be talking about something very important that you're doing in schools. Can you tell us about that?
Well, there's two things really. The 10th of October is World Mental Health Day, and it's a really, really important day because mental health has been a little bit of the Cinderella of the kind of health service, and we need to be able to talk about our mental health in the same way that we do our physical health.
Definitely.
And we also need to know what we can do to look after so that we can kind of, you know, be happy and be well mentally. And so 3 years ago, I founded a charity which was really to work with schools to provide education about mental health to young people.
What was that so important for you to do?
Well, in my clinical practice, I was seeing more and more unwell young people. They were getting younger and younger.
That's frightening, isn't it?
It is indeed, yeah, and the difficulties were becoming more complex. So, you know, you'd see very young children who were depressed or who had quite severe eating disorders or behavioural problems that were affecting their confidence, their relationships, addiction starting really early. And so kind of really the focus was to try and give young people tools to deal with kind of improving their mental well-being so that they kind of didn't get to that point. Because what we know statistically is that 40% of adults who have a mental health condition started when they were 15 years old. And so if you can get at that kind of condition at that age or earlier, then, you know, it doesn't have to lead to such a chronic or difficult course with so many complications. So the work is very much about teaching some kind of good life skills as well as helping identify early signs of some sort of mental health issue.
Okay, and how's it been going so far? You've been
it's
doing
been
this
going
for a while.
really, really well.
Wow.
So we started off with a few schools locally, and it has really become extremely popular to the point that I have to now kind of try and get other people on board to kind of work with it. And we're not just working with students, we're working with secondary schools at the moment, and there's been a bit of a request saying, well, maybe we need to start to think a little bit about the kind of upper end of primary schools too, but really working with parents, because parents are so important. You know, we heard from Abby earlier about the kind of importance of parental relationships, and but if parents know about, you know, kind of signs and symptoms to look out for, what they can do in terms of kind of building strong family connections and relationships, then that again can help, because we don't live in isolation, we live within families, so they can also help. So work with parents and also with schools. So we do a lot of teacher training because often teachers can spot signs and school friends know, you know, what's happening early on, and so it's kind of to start to think a bit about
and where did the actual 5-a-day concept come from?
Okay, so this is all about kind of how to look after your mental health or well-being. And I thought it would be really fun to kind of think of a good way for people to know, because I mean, I don't know, do you know how to look after your mental health?
There's certain things I do to look after my mental health.
But it's not common knowledge, is it? And also sometimes, even if we know, we don't always practice it. So we might know that we have to kind of only drink under a certain limit, or, you know, that we need to sleep a certain number of hours, but we don't always follow it. And so the idea was, how can we kind of introduce this again in a bit of a kind of a welcoming way? So it's called Mind Your 5. So it's a takeoff of the kind of 5 a day. And what you have to do is you've got to try and see whether you can do 5 of these activities activities in a day. And the activities range, and the categories are these. So we start off with kind of healthy practice. And so healthy practice is very much about looking at things like, you know, sleep, eating. They're really simple things. They're not kind of, you know, saying go on a, you know, hugely nutritional kind of plan. If you can, great. But something like, you know, substitute a fizzy drink for some fruit juice, for example, or a glass of water. So they're kind of really nice activities that people can do. And then there's activities that you go on to, and not just doing activities that you enjoy, like, you know, music or art, but having a bit of time out in your day. Maybe waking up a little earlier so you can walk to school or walk to work. So kind of really
small changes that make a big difference.
Small changes that you feel you're in charge of, and that, you know, will make a big difference. And then the next one is positive thinking, really important. So there are sort of some ways of learning how to think positively, but also just, you know, focusing on someone who makes you feel positive. What do they say? What do they do? Can you remember that? Positive emotions is the fourth category, which is, you know, say, give a compliment to someone, or have a smile, or, you know, just really nice kind of things. And then the last one is called your connections, and the anagram spells happy. So that's brilliant. How it goes. It goes Happy. And your connections is all about how important our friends are, our family connections are. And for young people, it sort of, you know, makes a little suggestion. Instead of going on Facebook, why don't you phone a friend instead? You know, do something with your family. And what we've done is we've rolled it out, or I've rolled it out in some schools, and the young people have really liked it. They've done it for a week. We've had a Mind Your 5 week, but the teachers have also done it, and some parents have done it.
It sounds like good fun that everyone can get involved in.
It's good fun. And what I've said is, well, after the week, if you can pick on one thing that you want to continue, or more than one, just do that. And so far, I've had about 84% young people say, we're going to keep doing them.
Brilliant.
So
and I'm sure it's going to get much, much better as well. Thank you. We've run out of time. That sounds amazing. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm sure we're going to see you again soon.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Do stay tuned, because after the break, we'll talk to young singer, songwriter and multi-talented Tyler Rix.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back. Now, before we meet Tyler Rix, let's take a look at this fitness tip from Jane.
Hi everyone, welcome to your fitness tips. I'm Jane Rafter, and this is for you if you have been to gyms and left, and joined another gym and left, and I'm sure some of you are relating to this. If you want to get fit and you're fed up of joining gyms and not going, then why don't you try thinking outside the box? There's loads of other things you could do other than go into that kind of institution. I mean, there's things like tango classes, salsa classes, and they tend to be more sociable as well than a gym. I'm generalising, of course, and lots of gyms are really friendly, but there is usually more of a social side to those sorts of things. So why don't you phone up a friend, Google, find a tango class, salsa, ballroom, jive, and go and try something different. It's worth a try, isn't it? Okay, see you soon.
Thank you very much, Jane. So now let's say hello to Tyler. Hello, Tyler.
Hello, how you doing? You all right?
I'm well, how are you?
Really well, thank you.
Now, you have got a very colourful CV here. Like, there's so much. I don't think we're going to have time to talk about everything. Okay. Well, let's try and go through a few things. Because how old are you, first of all?
I'm 21 now.
Just 21, and you've already achieved all of this? Right, so let's just go through a few of these things. So you've had a #1 selling album at just 16 years old. Yep. And what was that for? That was in...
that was with Universal Classic and Jazz. It came out in February 2009. It was called Ascent. And that was absolutely crazy to have that and you know, come home from school every day and just... I remember coming into the kitchen one day and them saying, "Next is Tyler Rix," and you know, it was just a crazy feeling to have that. So yeah, that was amazing. Yeah.
Gosh, but how did you stay so focused at such a young age?
Well, I actually started as a footballer. I was with West Ham United Academy from the age of 7, and so, you know, from such a young age, and I started playing the saxophone at 9.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I'll go straight from school to West Ham, and then I'll get home about 8:30, 9 o'clock, and then, you know, shower, dinner, a bit of practice when I could, and, you know, that was my structure every day.
So you got quite disciplined from
yeah, from such a young age. I was so disciplined, and I guess my time management was where, you know, that was my kind of key thing, because I knew that I had to, you know, be kind of strict with my time. But that's what, you know, got me to the places, you know.
Okay, that's brilliant. Okay, so you've already mentioned you're playing football for West Ham United. Okay, and you're also internationally acclaimed model. And you've walked the catwalks for clients such as Versace, Ted Baker and Superdry, London, Paris, Milan and New York Fashion Weeks. Wow.
Yeah, that's been...
You've travelled a bit, haven't you?
I have. It's been crazy. That was nothing I expected to ever do, you know, to be a model. I was doing my music, doing my football, and that was
How did you get discovered? Or?
I was on a bus, and this guy was just staring at me on the bus. It was so crazy.
That was a bit weird.
No, I was literally like, oh my God, here we go. Yeah, he said, I'm a talent scout and all that, and yeah, we went from there. And so in the last couple of years, I've been flying around here, there, and everywhere.
What's the experience like to be a model?
It is an amazing experience. The amount of time that you sit and wait, though, is excruciating, because, you know, you sit and wait for a client, and they come out and they look at you and they say, thank you. And you know, that's it.
And that's
think,
it.
oh my God. But then the next day you find out you've booked the job. So, you know, it's so crazy. But that's why I love doing the music, because for me, the music is the talent. You know, the modelling is great, but you're just a face, you know, to a certain client. You're right for the brand. But really, the music for me, learning how to play the saxophone or learning how to sing, and write songs, that for me is like my passion.
Now we've got a short clip of you playing the saxophone. Where was this? The
Olympic Park. Yeah. So I performed 35 gigs in the Olympic Park over 2012, and it was the most amazing experience. So yeah.
All right, let's take a look at this video.
It's not a maybe, please you to be my lady. There's nothing like you and me. I lift you up, so we can unlock this love. Come on, come on. I'm for you. Unlock this love. Unlock this love. Come on, together.
So someone was really happy there.
I know, right?
So tell us, you're a torchbearer as well.
Yeah, so I guess from everything that I did up to that point, this was kind of my, you know, this is my goal and aim, and to be standing on the stage in front of 80,000 people. It was selected by Coca-Cola to light the cauldron in Hyde Park.
What was that like? Gosh.
It was the most overwhelming experience. You know, I've stood in front of big crowds before, but that in front of 80,000 people, and they were going, Tyler. It was crazy. It was so mad. I remember coming off the stage crying my eyes. Actually, it was that emotional for me. But yeah, I just think, you know, that's what I want to do eventually with my music, and be able to perform to those kind of people. So
tell us about your music now. What is it you're planning to do with that, and how's it all going?
So I guess at the moment I'm just writing so much music. So usually between about midnight and 5, 6 in the morning, I write my songs. When everyone in the house has gone to bed.
Really?
Yeah, no, seriously.
So do you actually sleep?
No, I will, only a little bit, but I know I'm used to it. At this age I can do it, but I don't know, we'll see.
We're going to have someone over there, I think that's going to tell you off.
Yeah, I know, right?
I was like, talking about getting enough sleep and everything. All right, but you'll be right.
But yeah, for now I can cope. So yeah, just writing so much music, you know.
And what are you inspired by when you're writing music?
Well, I think the travelling from the modelling has really inspired me. Going to all the countries and seeing so many different styles and cultures and all that kind of stuff internationally it's you know, I come home and I'm like, I have so much I want to write about, lyrics and actual styles of music. So I just want to get the saxophone in, and I don't know any other saxophonists that are frontmen as, you know, pop singers. I've never seen it done before, and so I guess I want that to be my thing, and people to know me as, you know, that guy that plays the sax.
That's really good.
So that's what I want to do.
And tell us about the song that we're going to be watching another clip in just a moment. Tell us about the song.
Okay, so I've been writing until about 5 in the morning this one night. Yeah, crazy as it sounds. And I went to bed with ideas still flowing. I was trying to sleep, and out of nowhere, I'm going to sound crazy, but out of nowhere, this line came to me with the lyric, and it ended up being the chorus of my song, Thank You.
Wow.
It was so crazy. I don't know where it came from.
So it was already there in your mind somewhere, just maybe when you were trying to rest.
That sounds so crazy. But
Well, that's talent for you. You got it somewhere.
So.
All right, now have I missed anything else off this list before we listen to it?
Today?
Okay. Well, maybe we'll have to leave it for another time. So we are gonna hear you in action now.
Cool.
Is there anything you'd like before we go? Because obviously there are youngsters that sometimes they kind of get sidetracked by things, or they get influenced negatively by friends and stuff like that. You've obviously managed to keep yourself grounded. Is there any advice that you would give to youngsters that are watching now to maybe help them keep them sort of focused on their goals and dreams?
Yeah, well, this is the thing. So I do go around to schools, mostly primary schools, and talk, kind of inspirationally about my experiences, because the stuff I had the chance to do and the opportunities I've had are kind of teenage dreams. This is what teenagers love to do, to have the music, the football, the modelling. I mean, I've had such an incredible experience being able to do that, and so I guess for them it's just about time management, like I was saying to you earlier, about how to really divide your time between all the things that you want to do, and also to be given the opportunities. I think I got given the opportunities to, for example, be taken to West Ham training every day, for my mum to take me to Guildhall School of Music, my dad to take me here. They're the things, the opportunities that I got given, and I think a lot of people deserve opportunities, because I think that everyone has an ability of some kind, and
definitely.
It's just to find that and be to find it really, and just be given that opportunity. So I just think stick at it and kind of
grab the
live a great
opportunities
dreams.
when they come. Definitely. Thank you so much, Tyler.
Thank you so much.
We're going to watch the video in just a moment. We're just going to wrap up the show. Brilliant talking to you.
You too,
Thank
thanks.
you. Alrighty, so we have reached the end of the show, so I do hope you've enjoyed it, and if you want any information about our guests, you can visit the website chrissybshow.tv, and if you'd like to email me, maybe you have your own success story that you'd like to talk about, you can email me on chris@chrissybshow.tv. But let's leave the closing all to Tyler.
Miles above your view, where the sky turns black from all the grays and blues that you see when you look up to me, baby. That you see when you look up to me, baby. I am a million miles above your view, where I wish I had the chance to tell you all the truth that you see when you look up to me, baby. That you see when you look up to me, baby. Thank you for letting me be your man. Thank you for letting me hold your hand. Thank you for being the one who I had planned to love, love, love. I am second star on the riding straight until morning. If you ever need a wish, hit me up, I keep the magic pouring. That you see when you look up to me, baby. That you see when you look up to me, baby.
Jane, why is that so close?
Sorry, please.
Why is the camera so close to me?
Yeah, sorry, I was focused.
Wow.
I thought it was longer.
Sorry, I saw my big face on the screen. It's like...
Is it 5 minutes?
No, it's the videos are shorter now. Sorry. I scared myself. I got distracted.